I'm John, host of Video Games in the World. So, what's today's news? Robert Pattinson, as you all know, is going to be the Vengeance in the upcoming movie, The Batman. The movie looks solid, and he seems pretty solid for the role of the Bat, no doubt. But before The Batman, he played as Cedric Diggory in Harry Potter and the Goblet of Fire, and is also well known for his role as the vampire, Edward Cullen. No offense, but I still hate that sparkly vampire crap. And I'm sure a lot of you do too. But enough of that, let's move on. So, Robert Pattinson was asked by CNET, sister site GameSpot, what his favorite game of all time is. I think it was a lot of people's favorite game, but Final Fantasy VII, he said resolutely. Probably one of the only times I've cried in my life is when Aerith dies. Yep. If you played the original Final Fantasy VII for the PS1 and its remastered version on the PS4 and PC, then you remember that surprising plot twist and tragic moment. Pattinson joked that Aerith was his first love. Huh. And I thought Princess Zelda was everyone's first love. Now, when I first got to that scene many years ago, I cried as well, because you got to love her and see her as the only solution to save the world from the apocalypse. Pattinson had no comment for the Final Fantasy VII remake during the interview, but we're going to see in the next part if Aerith gets killed. It will happen most likely, but who knows, right? So, the Final Fantasy series has had moments that got to us that we just had to let it out. Not just Aerith's death scene, but also the moments that made us cry, such as the ending of Final Fantasy X, the ending of Final Fantasy 15, the death of Galuf in Final Fantasy V, and another one that I still get very teary-eyed in a way is the opera scene in Final Fantasy VI. There were other video games that made me cry too, such as Metal Gear Solid 2, Metal Gear Solid 4, Life is Strange, Heavy Rain, Kingdom Hearts 2, The Last of Us when Joel's daughter was killed, The Last of Us Part 2, etc. Video games do make men and women cry. Whoever says that men don't cry during touching scenes in video games is taking you for a long ride, man. In terms of crying, I remember how I cried joyfully when, months ago, a little girl's birthday was celebrated through Animal Crossing, and that noble donation for the creators of Cyberpunk 2077, because I thought it was very cute, and that little girl who celebrated her 9th birthday through Animal Crossing is because her planned birthday party was cancelled due to COVID-19, because her birthday party was not going to happen, because COVID-19, it got worse and worse, and it spread all the way through here. But I'm glad that she had her friends on Animal Crossing celebrating with her. And to those creators of Cyberpunk 2077, you guys rock, man. You rock. I don't like to cry, but sometimes you gotta let it all out. It's okay to cry in certain situations, but crying because certain things didn't go your way, that's no good. Why? Because you have to learn that the world and life is not how you want it to be. Also, I remember what Jack said in Final Fantasy X. There is a time where you have to stop crying and move on. And it makes a lot of sense, because if you're just sitting down crying and not moving on, you lose. So, what video games make you cry, folks? Comment, share, like, subscribe, and hit that like button. I'm John of Video Games in the World. Have a good one. Later.